Wow. What a beautiful event this is. Thank you, Enoch, for the warm introductions. My name is G, as Enoch mentioned, co-founder of JS Kitchen. We called it JS Kitchen, by the way, because this way, if somebody asks us, well, who's Jay? We go, oh, it's Jesus. Can I tell you about him? So that was the idea. And so I have this exciting story to share with you all. And this story actually happened last year in this very room. I was sitting just over here, right around where Audrey's sitting, actually. And so when it comes to business owners, we're always focused on accomplishment, but what I think is one divine moment can accomplish more than a lifetime of striving ever could. And so here is that divine moment in which God brought about something my friends and I never even imagined we'd be a part of. And so in the summer of 2024, my friend Elliot, who's joining me here today, he was driving down, and he noticed it's a little bit breezy. So he looks over his shoulder and realizes his back window is completely shattered. And he looks down, his bag is stolen. His bag that had $6,000 worth of tech goods in there. But fortunately, he had an Apple tracking device, so he could see it's actually making its way downtown. So he calls 911. He's like, 911, what's your emergency? My bag was just stolen. Can you help me? Actually, until these requirements happen, we actually can't do anything. And so he asks, can I go after it myself? I guess so. Be safe. Good luck. Click. And so he's going Batman style. He's chasing after this bag. And he feels, understandably, he's upset. But he sees the bag stop. He parks his car. And he walks over. He sees a guy walking around with his bag. And so then, as he's approaching, he actually feels a sense of the Lord tell him, hey, you know what? Show this guy my love. So Elliot approaches him and says, you know what? That's my bag. But you must have had a really rough day if you felt that this is what you had to resort to doing. How can I bless you today? And so he tells him, oh, you know, I really need money for these things happen. Elliot said, come on, let me get you some money. Goes to the ATM, helps him out. Asks him once again, how else can I bless you today? And he says, oh, I'm really hungry. Elliot says, come on, let me buy you a meal. Sits down, buys him a meal, gets to hear a story. One more time he asks him, how else can I bless you today? And at this time, he looked at Elliot and he just started sobbing. He just started crying and he said, how can you treat me this way? No one treats me this way. I've done nothing but wrong things to you. Why are you doing this? Can you ever forgive me? That's what he asked to Elliot. Can you forgive me? And so Elliot looks at him and he says, of course, you've already been forgiven. By the way, I need you to know that this is what Jesus did for you as well. Not based on anything you did to deserve it or anything good that you've done. It's a free gift for you to receive. This is grace. He shares the gospel with his friend. And Elliot shares this story with me, and I'm just moved. I'm like, wow, we got to do something about this. So we decide to grab a bunch of McDonald's burgers and Costco hot dogs. We set a day, grab some Bibles, and we just go to love on the people. And so we do this for a few times, and a mentor of ours who had done this for several decades, he told us, you need to do this consistently. Don't do it as a one-off, because trust is not built, not just based on whether you lie or not, it's built on showing up. So show up over and over again. Get to know them on a first-name basis to show that you actually care. So we decided we'll do this for a year, and we're going to try our best. About halfway through, two things happened. Number one is our mentor challenged us. I love that you're giving food to meet their physical needs, as James suggests, but let me ask you this. If you were to invite Enoch to your home for a meal, you wouldn't just buy him a Costco hot dog. No, you would make him a homemade meal, one that's delicious and one that's healthy. So why are you treating your street friends any differently? What? Just because they're houseless. And so we really thought about that, our team, and we went, you know what? We totally agree, we're convicted. We're going to figure out a way to actually go about this. Do we cook at our own home or at our church and then bring the meals down? We'll figure it out, but we prayed about it. And simultaneously, the other thing that was happening was about halfway through the year, I won't lie to you, it was hard. And so I just thought to myself, Lord, is this really where you want me? I'm weak. If you really want me here, this is a tough ministry, you got to make it obvious for me. So please speak to me. So then a few weeks later, I get invited to this one conference called Business as Mission. Some of you might be familiar with this conference. And so at this conference, I remember I had a great experience, but in particular, I met two people. If we can go to the next slide here, please. At this conference, there was Chef David Robertson, the owner of The Dirty Apron, and the JJ Beanor, as you can see here. You can see last year I was dressed a lot nicer. And so I just remember them sharing about how they align their vocation with their faith, how they're God-fearing business owners. And so I go to Chef Dave after, and I go, hey, I want to learn from you. Let's talk. So we go for coffee. So next slide, please. And when we meet for coffee, we talk for about 5 minutes. And instead of talking about business, we both just start sharing stories about giving to those in the downtown east side. And then after about 5 minutes, Chef Dave goes, why don't you come with me? And he starts showing me around the storage area, the fridge, and eventually the kitchen. And then he just looks at me and he goes, so, when do you want to use it? And then I look at him and I go, what are you talking about? We talked for 30 seconds the other day, 5 minutes today. How can you trust me? And he says, no. I know when God wants me to do something, I spend enough time with him. And he wants you to stay in this ministry and use my kitchen. It belongs to him. And so just like that, we had 2 prayers answered, having access to a kitchen and confirmation that I was supposed to stay in this ministry. Talk about that one divine moment that can do more than a lifetime of striving ever could. And so we graciously accept, and our ministry basically overnight just doubles. We get private funding. We have people coming in, volunteering to help us out. And it's just tremendous. We go into the streets, and I remember just asking this one young lady, hey, tell me your story. How did you end up here? And she told me, when I was very young, my parents passed away. And so unfortunately, my uncle was the one who took care of me, but he abused me every single day. So the only thing I could think of as a kid was to get out of this situation was to make myself as ugly as possible. That's what she told me. And then the only thing I thought I could turn to was drugs to escape the situation. So that's what I did. I was able to get out of that house, but unfortunately, I then needed to go to the source, which is the downtown east side. I've been here ever since. So we hear stories of like this time and time again. But our team, what we hope to do is we hope to go consistently, meet them where they're at, get to know them on a first-name basis, to pray for people, to show them, hey, there is greater hope. There's a God who hasn't forgotten about you. He counts every single teardrop that's shed. He collects them in a jar, and he's going to give a reason for them one day. We have a God that still loves you. He wants you to take a first step into his kingdom. There's a God that's greater than addiction, greater than homelessness, greater than hopelessness, right by your side. Will you accept this prayer with me? These are the conversations we hope to have and continue to have. And so if we continue on, I'll show you a few of the photos here of the kitchen and our team. Please keep going on. Next slide, please. One more. So here's the kitchen, the front entrance. One more, please. There's the kitchen that we operate in, and then one more as well. And then one more, I think there's, and 2 more, sorry. There we are. And then just one more after this. So there's photos of our volunteers going out. And just one more slide, please. There we are. So here's our mission and vision statement. There's one main difference between ourselves and other ministries, wonderful ministries in the downtown east side, and it's twofold. Number one is we are privately funded. What this means is we have the ability to share the gospel. And so if you're publicly funded by the government, unfortunately, this is not possible. Secondly, other wonderful ministries will have people come into their institution. We don't wait for people to come to us. We bring church into the streets. This is what we hope to do. And so just last slide. And so there's 3 ways to help. Firstly, if you have an organization or a church that can connect myself or anyone from our team to share the testimony, to raise support, that's the first way. The second way would be through donations, either monetary, clothing, food. And then thirdly is going to be volunteering, joining our team, helping us shop, cook, clean, and of course, importantly, going out to reach those who don't know Jesus yet. And so very last slide here. And so here's our contact information. This has been an honor and a privilege. Thank you very much for your attention. Isaiah 6:8 says, whom shall I send who will go for us? Here I am, Lord, send me. May we be able to respond in unison. Thank you very much.